Alright, I am finally back, and I have officially graduated. Finally. Um, I've been gone a little while because I have been working on my finals for college. I'm officially a bachelor's in computer science graduate, and I also have a certificate in software development. Um, so enough about me. Let's get right into it. Today we're going to be working on our Twitter clone project, and we are going to be working on the back end. Finally, we are going to be working with MySQL. Now I have uh, worked a little bit with it. I've played around with it a little bit, but I've never um, implemented it into any kind of code. I've done some basic commands and stuff like that, basic queries, stuff like that. So today we're going to be implementing it into our Twitter clone project, and this starts the kickoff of more to come. So let's get right into it. All right, before we start working on the back end of things, first we need to set up some tables and some other things within the database. So, right here, I've got a database called Twitter Clone, and this is the one I'm going to be connecting to whenever we get to the code. So, the first thing I want to do is I want to create a table, and we are going to call it let's just call it users. All right, and then we need to put that there so it doesn't yell at me. And what's it yelling at me for now? Let's see. So I want use Twitter clone, and we'll run that real quick. So we're using that. So in the users table, we're going to have a everything that um, we're going to have everything that we do whenever we not sign in but sign up. So we're going to have name, a phone number, and email. Both the phone and the email are optional, but one will be required. The date of birth, and so all right. And the way that I've got this set up, if you're just watching the console over here, it should pop up. I would think. Yeah. Validation code, haven't set that up yet, and password. All right. Let's sign up, and if you look over here, I've got an object that is being sent from the front end to the back end. Um, so basically, what that looks like is I need to rename these. It's not this one; it's this one. So if we scroll down right here, actually, right here is the form values, the default form values. They're all set to null, and every time every time that we update a form value, this update form values function is called, and it basically just checks to see what values were updated and updates the object, the form values object. And then once we click the sign up button down here towards the bottom, should be within the 5th page. Yeah, right here. So we're selecting the values from the form values object and saving it in a vals array, or a vals variable. Now we're checking to see to make sure if we have a name. If the name was not inserted, it will be default. Or the default is null. So if the name was never inserted, then this stuff inside of here wouldn't run. I know there's easier return ways to do it, but that's just a quick, dirty way I did it. um, Next, it checks if there's a vals.phone or if there's an email. So it checks to see if there's a phone or an email. Then it checks to see if there's a date of birth. And finally, it checks to see if there was a password entered. And if all of those are true, we are going to call the function send form data, which the function send form data, it I think I've actually got this fixed. I'll check on this after later on to make sure this is working. But basically, what it does is it gets the form values and saves it into a variable called data. Then we create a variable called response, and we send a fetch request to /signup with a method of post and some basic headers. And we're basically telling it if it redirects us to follow it, and the body is going to be the data that's stringified. And then as long as we get a good response back from the back end, we can then follow the response.url, which should send us straight to the login page. So if I hit sign up, right now it's just console.logging that data. So you can see it's data inside of an object here that is then being logged to the console. So we will fix that later, but right now that's what's going on the front end. So I'm just going to refresh this here. Alright, so now we can start working on the tables, and we are going to create the table users. And first we're going to need a name, and I know that this is going to be a varchar. I think that's the right one. Yeah, varchar. And how long should a name really be? And I don't need this. I don't need this here, I don't think. But I need that. No, I can't even remember. Let's do 50 characters for the name. And then next one is going to be, let's see here, phone number. And I think I'm just going to save this phone number as a string rather than a number. I think it's just easier to work with strings. So we're going to do a phone, and phone is going to be a varchar, and the phone number should be what is it, 10 characters long. Okay, so phone is going to be 10 characters long. Email is going to be a varchar, and I'm just going to make that let's see, let's just do 100 characters. Emails probably shouldn't be much more than 100 characters. That's a very long email. And next, we're going to say DOB. So we're going to have a DOB, and I can't remember how to work with date string objects. So let's go MySQL date. Date format. I think it's just okay, so we don't care. Okay, so date, we've got date and we've got date time. So it looks like the format is this. Okay, so I think we can just do date. Okay, and then I think we can just do that, and then we can do. Okay, so this here is basically a Boolean value. Basically, this is that little check mark on the second page, I think it is. Basically, just asking if what is it? You can send relevant information or something like that. It's basically Twitter tracking. Not that. This right here. Track where you see Twitter content across the web, and then it's got all this, and you can check or uncheck that box. So what we are going to do is set track to a, what is it? Boolean. Here we go. And then we also, not that, we need a password, okay? So the password, password is going to be a varchar, and I think the way Twitter has this set up, actually I need to put a comma there so I get rid of the squiggly lines. And I think the way that Twitter has it set up is it has to be a minimum of 8 characters, but it has no maximum. So I'm just going to set a varchar of 255, and we'll do that way. We can change this later. It's not like, it's not like the end of the world if we don't get this perfect first try. So that's what I'm going to start with, is that, and I'm actually going to add a couple more things here. I know that we need an ID, which is going to be an integer, and it's going to be auto increment, and primary key, and okay, so we have auto increment primary key for the ID. Name is going to be not null. Now phone and email, we cannot set as not null. The not null basically says there has to be a value there. So since we are checking for phone or email, we can't put not null on one or the other, because if one is not null and it's not present, then it will reject the whole insert. So we cannot put not null on those. But the date of birth, we can put not null. And the tracking, we can also put not null. And the password, we can also put not null. Okay. So now if we run that, and looks like I may have accidentally already. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do drop table users. All right. Well, we will run that, and that was successful. Now we will run this. Okay, so we should now have a table called users. All right, and it should have all of these specifications. Now, let's do a show tables. I think that shows the like what tables are within the database. Yeah. So it just shows that we just have a users table inside of the database right now. So we don't want that. But we do want is what is it? There's a command, like a shorthand command. What is it? DSC, I think. Users. I think that'll work. Yeah, so it describes the users table. So in the users table, we have an ID, which is of type int, null, saying is if it could possibly be null is a no. We always have to have a value there. Which we will always have a value there because of the auto increment portion of it. It will automatically, whenever there is a new value or new entry into this users table, it will automatically add the next available value using auto increment. All right, and then I've set the ID as the primary key. That way we can find all of the users with their specific key. Because a lot of users may have the same name, uh, email address shouldn't be the same, but you never know. So we want ID to be the primary key that we can always find a specific user by. So then we've also got name, which is a varchar, 50 characters long. And it's not nullable. So if there's no value present in name, then it will reject the insert. Phone and email, which are both one's of varchar 10 and one of varchar 100. Those can both be null because, like I said before, we're asking for one or the other, so we can't make either one of them null. We will check on the back end to make sure that there is a value in one or the other, and there's only one value in one or the other. The DOB is a date object, and it's not going to be null. Track is a tiny int. Why is that a tiny int? I'm assuming because it's a true or false like boolean, but either way, that's not null. And then password can be any length. It has to be a minimum of 8 characters long. But other than that, that'll be checked in the code on the back end. I think there's a way to check a min. Is there a way to check? I want to see that actually. Min length. Oh, it's probably a constraint. Okay, yeah. MySQL require a minimum length. Yeah. Yeah, so it would be a table constraint. Um, yeah, it would be a table constraint that we would have to add. We can add that later. I'm not concerned about that. I'm just more concerned about getting it functioning right now, and then we can add it and tweak it, add things to it and tweak it later. So uh, that is our table, and now what is it? Select star from users, right? And then I click that, and we don't have any values in there just yet, but we will. So that seems to be our users table up and running. So whoops, let's I'm just going to save this here in case I need to edit the table later, drop the table, whatever. I'll just save that for now. And we'll head right back over here to the code. So we're going to start with closing out of that. We're going to go over here. And the first thing I actually want to do is check to see what packages I have and what packages I need to install. So let's see, it looks like I already have Bcrypt installed. I'm going to use that for encrypting our passwords. I've already got Passport installed and Passport Local. I'll need Google Auth and Apple Auth for those sign-in methods later on, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. We are going to need let's see, it's going to be MySQL, this right here. So I went with I checked out the original, what was it, this one here, but it seems to be, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems to be outdated. I ran into an issue where um, something along the lines of it needs the authentication method used to authenticate with the server or the database is outdated or something. So I went ahead and I'm going to go with this one instead. It seems to be kept up pretty up to date. So I'm going to go ahead and install this. So let's see. Let's go to here. Let's open the terminal and we'll paste that in. I think that's all of the packages I need at the moment. I don't think I need anything extra. So yeah, we'll go ahead and install that. And now that that's done, head back over here to that. I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to close this out. Okay, so if we look at the docs here a little bit, where are the docs at? Oops. Or if they're on the GitHub page. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we'll need this, and we will do this again here. Alright, so we'll put this here. Alright, and then we will copy this over here as well. And actually, I do need I think I do need one more thing. Let's check here. Yeah, I'm gonna need oh shit, what's it called? .env for environment variables, because yeah, okay. We'll go ahead and let's see. Okay. mpmi. Okay. Okay. So over here, I'm going to create a new file. .env file. And this is where I'm going to put all of my information that configuration information, stuff like that, secret information. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I have added the information in here. So my host is localhost, the user is the root. I put my password in the .env file under dbpass, and the database is Twitter_clone. So now we should theoretically be able to insert something into the database. So let's actually go over here. So it looks like, so we'll have connection.execute, which will prepare and execute the statement. You can also manually prepare/unprepare statement with prepare, unprepare. Okay. Okay, so yeah, right here. So a simple query. Hmm. Okay, so let's see if we can query the database and get something in return. So if I'm just gonna put it right here. I'm just gonna put it right here for now, so that I don't have to go through the form. So let's do a db.query, right? And then first we need the query statement. So we want to select star from select the star from users. Okay. And let's actually, before we do this, I want to fill a couple things in the database. Let's put a little bit in the database. Um, I'm gonna go grab a couple things to add to the database, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got some mock data that I got from this site right here. I will leave the link to that in the description if you want to check it out. But I just Googled, mock data generator, and this was the first one that came up. But I'll leave the link for that in the description. But this is our mock data. I was unable to actually um, separate the phone and the email. So I set it so that everyone has an email, but only about 50% of them have a phone number. Um, so we'll just work with that like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and there's about I think there's 1,000 rows in this thing. Yeah, there's 1,000 rows in this of mock data, so that should give us plenty of data to work with. Um, I'll go ahead and execute this file, and oh, that's right. Wait, what is my error here? Check the. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Okay, where would I have an error at in my SQL syntax? Oh, okay, I see. No, I don't see actually. Hmm. Let me play around with this for a sec. Okay, I've got it fixed. I just accidentally named the table incorrectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert. I'm gonna go ahead and execute this file. Um, and I again have a syntax error. How? Seriously? Where is this? Just worked perfectly fine a second ago. Okay, so the users table does exist. Um, there we go. Okay, I don't know what was up with that first line. Okay. Anyway, so now if we query our database, we're going to limit it to 50 rows. But now we have sample data. Like I said, we have emails for every one of them, and phone numbers for probably about 50% of them. So that's good sample data to start out with. So let's close this out. Yeah, we'll save that. All right, and bring this back up here. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, we should be able to query our database. Um, and I'm actually just going to add a simple where statement here, basically to limit the amount of results we get back from the query. So we're going to say where ID is okay. Now let's do okay. So do I actually just use the symbols? Or is there words that I have to use? Some are weird. You have to use actual words. Okay, well I guess we just use the symbols. So I'm gonna add a simple where statement where we check ID is less than 50. All right, and we'll save that. And let's see if we get a result. It does not look like we do. That's because let's save it to a variable and let's console.log data. I don't know. There we go. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so let's actually look at the docs here, because okay, so it looks like I have to also pass in a function. The results contains rows returned by the server. Fields contain extra metadata. Okay, so it looks like I have to pass in a callback function into this query as well. So let's just unsave that. Actually, we don't need to worry about that, and we don't need to worry about that. Okay, so we'll add the callback function here, and the callback function requires 3 arguments. It looks like error, results, and fields. All right, and we should be able to if error throw error, and we should be able to console.log results. Alright, so if we save that, now if we go back here, and it looks like there's our data, yeah. So it just returned the data in an array. Looks like it returned data in an array, and it's just the data with the where the ID is less than 50. So we got IDs 1 through 49 here. So that looks pretty nice. All right, so now that we've got our first query out of the way, and we know that it can query, let's remove this. We don't need that anymore. Save that. And okay, so when we do when we go to /sign up, sign up. All right, let's see if I can enter a new one. I know I haven't wrote the code for it yet. Validation code, we'll get that in the future. Alright, here's my password. Okay, so it looks like it does console log the request.body. and it's just a post request, so it doesn't do anything on the client side. I haven't sent any data back to the client just yet. All right, so we've got the slash sign up and then the slash sign in. So we're going to focus on the sign up portion first, and then we can work on the sign in portion. So let's see. So the first thing we want to do is we want to we've got the request body saved into the data variable. So let's do a db.query, and we're going to insert into, it's going to be users, insert into users, and we need the values in that query. And actually I'm going to change this. Whoops, that's not right. I'm going to change this to that. That way I can use the data. So we are going to do name. What is all of our data? I continue to forget it. So we're going to do name, phone, email, DOB, name, phone, email, DOB, and I think it's just track and password, right? Yeah, track and password. And password. All right. And then, whoops. I'm actually going to separate this so that and we're going to do values, and the values are going to be the values that were sent from the client side. So we're going to get data.name, and then we're going to do actually I need to put comma there, and we need to do data dot phone, alright, comma there, and we're going to need to do data dot email, alright, and then we need to do data dot dob, and then we're going to need to do data.track, actually I need to do this again, data.track, alright, and then we are also going to do data dot password. Alright, now if we save that, it looks like the app has crashed. Why has it crashed? Unknown column. What? And field list. Where in the world is that? Did I screw something up here? Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Let's refresh this here. And I don't know where that error was coming from. That's kind of strange. Guess we may or may not figure it out. Who knows? And okay, so after this, I need to. I think I need to add in a callback function. I think I'll need that for insert statements as well. Connection pools, promises. Doesn't seem to. Okay, so I'm assuming I'm going to need that callback function. Yeah, SQL string and then a callback function. The values are going to be error, error, results, and fields. Alright. And we're going to console.log. Actually, we're going to do if error, throw error. Then we're going to console.log results. Okay, so if we save that now, I'm going to refresh, and if we not sign in but sign up, alright, do this, next, just click sign up, and let's see, unknown column, huh? Let's do this. Let's do okay, so that should work theoretically. I wouldn't see why that wouldn't work, because I've got the query okay, it's still crashing. Let's see, it's saying unknown column in field list. I don't understand where I'm going wrong here. So with this, can I not use um string template literals? Because hmm do I need to add quotes around these? I wonder if that's the case. I don't I don't know why it would make a difference, truthfully, but you never know. Hmm. Okay. Okay, wait a minute. So uh dot to string. Let's see if that works. Let's see if I can do so what's the error here? So I'm assuming I don't need these. Okay. Hmm. Let's do this. Okay, so it is a string. I wonder what I'm missing here. I'm not too sure. All right, so there was a couple things that I had to fix. Um, so one of the first things that I had to fix was the data that was coming in the JSON object needed to be stringified. I tried using .toString, but I forgot that JSON objects have their own stringify method. So I had to stringify all of the values in the data object. Um, I also had to convert the date of birth to a new date. And basically, what I'm doing here is I'm converting it to an ISO string, and then I'm splitting it right on the T, and saving in this new DOB variable, which will put it in the correct format that I need it for the database. One other thing I had an issue with was the track value. I set it to not null, and when it's inserted into the database, it's it's a false, if it's a false value, it automatically converts to null. So I had to change it so that it's not gonna be not null anymore. It allows null values. Let's see what else. I didn't do anything else in here. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's all I had to do. Um, so now we, whoops. Now we have no problem inserting new users. So if I do Bob, and I use email instead, Bob at uh, bobmail.com, and I set his date of birth. I can uncheck this box, validation code, um, Bob is awesome, and I click sign up, and it all shows here because I have it console logging the data object here, and then this shows in, this is the return value from that callback function, or the, not the return value, but the results. What's returned in the results value. So if we go and take a look over here, I've got those first 1,000 default ones, and then I can search by doing this. Oh, wrong one. So I've got okay. So I was able to insert all of these values from the sign up thing. The sign up thing here. Okay. So now we have got to make it redirect. We need to have it to redirect whenever a successful sign up has been inserted into the database. That's what we're going to work on next. All right, so whenever we successfully get something put into the database, whenever a user successfully signs up, we need to be able to redirect them and log them in to the main feed. So let's see. Let's see here. I have got a index feed, and it's nothing special just yet, but it is a new page that we will redirect to, and we will make it look better later on. So first we need to check to see if there we need to make sure that the results are make sure that it's successfully added to the database. So let's add one to the database. All right. Okay. So whenever it's successfully added, let's see here. So server status. I'm assuming the server status is the status. I don't really know, to be honest. Let's see. Okay, let's go to the GitHub page here. Um, let's see. Okay, so you can inspect results.insert ID and see if you have something in it. Okay, so if there was a successful insert, we'll have an insert ID. Wonder if I could um, let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, so let's see. It's been a minute since I've used this here. Okay, so form data, that's form data right there, raw. Don't want binary. Would it be in the headers? I don't really know. Let's see. Name and then value is going to be key, phone, value, actually email is going to be null, and then And we are going to send, let's see, it's going to be a post request to, let's see, where is the post request going to be sent to? Okay, so the post request is going to be sent to /signup. Okay, let's send. Okay, so invalid time value. Okay, let's do this then. Still saying invalid time value. Okay. Wonder if I just need to remove these. Let's send again. No, I'm still saying invalid time value. It's still saying an invalid time value. I'm just trying to create an issue right now where one of the values that, you know what, let's do this instead. Send. Okay, hang on. So if we refresh here. So see, I've already got so many restrictions on the front end. I don't know the best way to send. Give me a sec. Let me figure this out. Okay, so it looks like I was able to get it to throw an error. I just needed to get around a couple of different things. I'm definitely not going to be a hacker anytime soon. But I was able to get it to throw an error. Incorrect value null for column. So basically, it will throw an error if we if somebody does not enter a correct amount of values or whatever. So that's perfect. So let's fix this so that it's working properly again. Oops. Get rid of that. Bring that back up. All right. If we save and we refresh. Okay, so let's see. We'll check to see if there's an error, and if there is, we'll throw an error. Then if results dot insert ID, if there's a value in there, then we're going to redirect to let's see. Okay, we're going. We'll first need to set current user equal to let's see. We can do. Let's actually, before we do that, let's. We should have access to all of the fields. We should have access to all of the we should have access to all of the data that was just added to the database. Okay, so the fields is showing undefined. That's fine. I wonder if I have access to... Oh, set current user equal to the results dot insert ID. So if we console.log current user before we set it and after, we should see that undefined, it's a false statement, and then there's a value in there afterwards. So yeah, we'll use that to set the user ID. So now if we redirect to slash, I think, and we return, and this is the feed. Perfect. And if I refresh, it still stays. I know that's not the proper way of doing it, but we will get that fixed. So now that we're properly signing someone up, logging them in, now let's see, what do we have to do now? We have got to so I want to properly take care of this. So let's see. So let's do this. We're going to validate new user data. All right, and we're going to pass in the data variable. All right, let's close this out for now. All right, and then if we go up here and we create a function, validate new user data, passing in the data. All right, so let's just do a console.log of the data. All right, and then we're going to send a new request. Next. Okay. Oops. Okay, so it looks like it properly logged the data. So let's see, if data.name, so if there's a value in there, if there's no value in there, return let's see. So how do I want to do this? I could probably just return false, and then I could check down here. Then at the end, if none of these are true, then, or if none of these are true, at the end we can return true, and then we can go on with the data. That sounds like a plan. All right. But if I want, okay, so if there's no data in the name, I want to return true. That way I can check if, whoops, I don't want to finally. If, whoops, come on now. If that returns true, then we're going to have an issue. We're going to return let's see. We're going to return where do we want to return to? What do we want to do here? If there's an issue with data, let's see. Index login.ejs. We can just redirect them to that page. Res.redirect slash. We'll just do that, and we'll set current user equal to null. It should already be null, but you know, just in case. So if there is an issue with the data, this will be called. This will check. Return if there is an issue with, say, the name, then we return true, and that is returned to here, which then causes this if statement to run, setting the current user to null, and we're going to return a redirect to slash, which in turn, if there's no current user, will give the index login page. Perfect. I think that will work. So let's finish up this here. If there's no data dot phone, we're going to check, and there's no data dot email, then we're going to return true. All right. So if there's no phone number and there's no email, then we need to have one of those. So, and then we also want to check if there's both of them, right? Because we're only asking for one. So if there's data dot phone and data dot email, return true. All right. Now we're going to check if what else do we want to check? Okay, so we want to check if there's no data dot password. Okay. Okay, so this will validate the data, and if any of these are true, it will return true immediately and invoke this right here, this if statement, which will in turn set the current user to null, redirect to slash, which if there is no user, then it's going to redirect to the login page. So let's check to see if this worked. I'm not going to check if it didn't work. I'm just going to check to make sure everything still works perfectly fine right now. Okay, and we get redirected to this page. Perfect. So okay. Okay, everything seems to be working fine. And whoops, that's not what I want. We got a new value inserted. I'm going to do that. Okay. All right, now that we're successfully inserting values into our database, we need to now be able to encrypt our passwords before um, before we insert the passwords into the database. So, um, what we are going to do is we are going to be using um, Bcrypt for that. So, we're going to validate the information first. So we'll run this, make sure everything is there before we go any further with that. Once we do that, we are going to encrypt our password, and then we will be able to store that in the database. So we are going to go up here, and we are going to Bcrypt. All right. And Bcrypt is going to be our hashing method for this. So we are going to say password is equal to oops, what in the world? Hash password. And we are going to pass in the password. So it's going to be data dot password. And then let's see. And then we are going to save the return value from that into our password. And in fact, we're also going to need to save the salt for that password as well in our database as well. So how would we do that? Let's see. So we could probably just return an array that has the password and the salt in it. So let's go up here and make our function. So we're going to do a function hash password. We're taking the password. All right. And then let's see. So been a minute since I've used Bcrypt, so I'm going to pull up the docs here. So let's see. So it looks like okay, so it looks like we need to generate a salt and hash on separate function calls. Okay, so it looks like we can call the bcrypt.hash function to pass in our plain text password, the number of salt rounds, and okay, so let's okay, so we will drag this out again. So we will call bcrypt.hash. All right, and we're going to pass in our password. All right, and then our salt rounds. Um, from my understanding, we don't want to go too crazy on this. So I think like a 10 would probably be our best option, and then after that, it looks like we just need a callback function now. So let's see. Yeah, it looks like we just need a callback function now that has an error and a hash. All right, and we should, if error, if there's an error, then we want to do we just want to throw a new error? All right, and if there's not an error, then we will return an array. Now, wait a minute. I can't store. See, I can't store. I can't store the hash in, or the salt in the database. I can't really return. Um, hmm. So does it use the same? Hmm. Okay, let's just try returning the hash. Okay. And I don't know. I know this takes time, so I don't know if it's going to wait on it or if it's not. I don't think it's going to. So let's just try it and see. Um, let's see what happens. So I want to down here. I want to console.log password, and I'm going to return that. Actually, it really doesn't matter, truthfully. So let's do this, and we're going to just do this. I'm just gonna make my password that. Okay. Now let's go over here and see. Yeah, so it looks like it. Yeah, so it looks like it. console logs undefined. So I would assume that we need to async await has no effect on this expression. Okay, so let's pull the docs back up. And okay, I see it now. So this is the synchronous way, or the asynchronous way of doing it, and then down here is the synchronous way of doing it. Looks like they're recommending we do the asynchronous way, which is recommended. So let's see. So if I can do this asynchronously, I should be able to use the async await to do it. Gen salt rounds function, passing in the salt. So, okay, so async methods that accept a callback return a promise when callback is not specified if promise support is available. Okay. Okay, but how do I asynchronously do that? Generate a salt and hash on separate function calls. So we would generate a salt here, and then in the callback function we would generate a hash. And technique 2 is to autogen a salt and hash. But the question is, how do I do this asynchronously? I mean, I could use I could use .then. Um, but I don't really want to do that. Let's see. So I wonder. Let's see. I mean, I know I could do it synchronously, but I would much prefer to do it asynchronously. Okay, let me look into this and I will be right back. Okay, so from what this guy is saying here, it looks like they did add it so that this will return a promise. So do I just need to save it in a variable? Is that where I'm going wrong here? So let's see. Um, okay, so let's see. Do I need... Maybe I don't need this callback here. Okay, so it does look like... Let's console.log the I'm just gonna copy this over here. Alright, so we're gonna console.log what this returns, and then we're also going to console.log the hashed password. Or no, not that. There we go. Okay, so let's refresh the page. Okay. Oops. And again, there's my password. Okay, so it does look like it does look like it is turning a password. Now now I'm assuming that this console log ran when it was still a promise that was pending. And then this one ran once the await... That doesn't make any sense. Console log wouldn't run again like that. That's kind of weird. Let's see. Here we go. Let's refresh. I have to say, I love figuring things out like this. This is fun. Again, password. Okay, so yeah, it looks like... I don't think I... Yeah, it looks like that it's console logging the promise, and then once the promise has been fulfilled, um, it is then once the promise has been fulfilled, then it is logging the hashed password. So, okay. So, most likely, because that's gonna pose an issue. That's gonna pose an issue with returning it, because it's just gonna return the undefined hash password again. It's gonna return the promise. So I could always make this an async function. Um, and then return the promise, and then no. Okay. Oh, wait. So here it's console logging the password. So let's save that again. Let's refresh and see. Okay, so this right here. Okay, so it is. Wait, that doesn't make any sense because I'm not even returning it. So how would it... See, because I'm not returning it in this function here. So it shouldn't... This here shouldn't be logging a promise. It should still be logging undefined, right? Let's do this. Let's make this async. We're going to await that. And we're going to return hashed password. Okay, so let's try that. See if that works. Okay, that seems to have worked, actually. So if we console.log, yeah, so we're now awaiting the hashed password, and then we're going to save that hashed password into the variable password, and then we're logging out that hashed version. Let's see if we put password here, if we get a stored version of that password. So let's pull this up here. Let's run this here. Okay, so it is still storing that password. Let's run this here. So now if we run this, we shouldn't get anything. Perfect. But if we run this, we should get the first 50. Yep. Okay, perfect. Now we'll save this, and we're going to refresh this. Whoops. All right, if we hit sign up, now let's see if we got that. Yes, the hashed password was saved in the database. That's fantastic. Now now let's see. Let's do that one more time. So just to make sure it wasn't a fluke, you know, I'm kind of weird about that. Sometimes things work, sometimes things don't, you know. I'm going to use a completely random password. I have no idea what it is. We'll sign up, and if we run this line again, okay, looks like we did get a hashed password stored in the database again. So it was not just a fluke. Fantastic. Alright, so now that we've got that set up, and I'm sure there's some kind of bug around here somewhere that I'm missing, but what do we need to do next? Next we need to, what do we need to do next? Let's see. So we've got all of the information being stored in the database now, and the password is being successfully hashed and stored into the database as a hash. Now, we need to work on the it's being hashed. Everything is properly being stored in the database. Okay, so our next logical move would probably be the sign in, I would think. So let's work on the sign in portion. Let's see. Actually, let's do this. I'm gonna call it there. I'm gonna call it there since we've got everything being properly stored in the database. The password is being properly hashed and properly stored in the database. We will work on the sign-in portion next time. So thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day. Make sure you like, subscribe, and keep up with the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you don't ever miss another upload. And I'm going to continue uploading because I am finally done with school. So I am going to continue uploading as much as possible. So thank you all for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.